I need to feel your energy today from start to finish.
Come on, let's go.
Let's crank this thing up. You get real ferocious, I'm trying to tell you.
Turn me up all day.
From the locker room to the broadcast booth, breaking news and the truth behind every take from a real NFL insider and television analyst.
Now get ready for the NFL show where the conversation gets real and the fans get a voice. It's time for the Lake Lewis Jr. Show here on ESPN Radio.
And that's football.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. And as I always say, to our show, it's the fan show. It's Fan Friday with some of my best supporters, good friends, people that have been there from day one. And we keep growing this thing out. And if you want to come on here, all you have to do is email me at thelakeLewisJrShow@gmail.com. I do know that there's been two gentlemen that reached out, and I promised them that I would get them on. So I promise you I will have you on the show next week. Sometimes it takes time to get through all those emails. So we will get you guys on next week. And as we always do, we chop it up. We talk about the NFL. We talk about the Commanders. And obviously, this is a Commander-centric show. But we want you to know that you can come on here if you are a fan of another show. We've had some fans on in the past. I had a gentleman who came on with us. You guys remember the Eagles guy that came on.
That's right.
He said he wants to come back on. So I'm like, please do so. So, you know, these guys can get at you. So with that being said, how's everybody doing today?
Wonderful.
Great. What's happening, bro? What's happening?
Doing
great.
Doing good, bro.
Nice, colorful group here that I love seeing. Everybody has different backdrops. I think y'all trying to outdo each other with who has the best backdrop because each week is something different. I know Miss Sheila last week had some Jaden Daniels stuff up. Today, Miss Sheila has on more of an anniversary type thing. You want to tell them what's going on, Miss Sheila? Why the look
I'm
up there?
celebrating my year on the Lake Lewis show.
Yeah.
And I celebrated with Rev and Mike B. But Mike B's not here. But I was glad when I found out. I actually made it a year. So that's what I'm celebrating. And when I started out with him, I was ill. I was going through some medical things. So it helped me to get through the things that I was going through while I was sick. And I still came on here, but they didn't know that I was sick.
Look at God.
And look at you. You know what I mean? Exactly. Look at God. Yeah. And you know, this is again why this is more than just a sports show. This is more than just a Commander show. This is a life show. And you get some life lessons on this show too. You learn how to disagree, but do it with class and dignity and respect. Everyone has difference of opinions, but at the end of the day, there's no fighting on here. None of that nonsense. And unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of people out there that want to come onto this platform and do that. And I'll just tell you kindly, you're not welcome. So with that said, let's get into what we do best. A lot of good stuff going on. League meetings are coming up. I'll be heading out to Arizona to go over that. And one of the things that I did want to talk to you guys about, and I kind of can tie it into the Commanders, because how many times over the years have we seen some really egregious calls go against this football team? A lot, actually. So one of the things that I did want to talk to you guys about is in our conference call this week, we had a conference call, league meeting, and the referees came up. And you guys know right now there's a little bit of a standoff going on with the referees, and the league may have to go get some backups. But one of the things that came up in the meeting, one of the questions that came up was the potential for full-time referees. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't hear Brian McCarthy. I didn't hear any of them like push it to the side. They were like, that is something that is being looked at. And they think that the referees need to be held accountable, just like, players and coaches are. So to hear that, it sounded to me like that is definitely something that is in the ears of the powers that be with the league. So as fans, I wanted to get your take on that. How important for you, and each person can chime in on this, but how important for you is it for the league which is the most lucrative league in our country, only plays 18 games, and yet they still made like $6 billion more last year than the NBA did. So, again, how important is it for you to have full-time referees? And if you think that would make the game a lot better. And then after that, we'll get into a more commander-centric question, because on my show yesterday, I gave the Commanders pick and who I think they're going to take. And we're going to get, I did, and we're going to get into that and the reason why I think that's going to happen. All right. So,
Wait, can I swing you this one first?
Sure. You go ahead, go fire it up.
Man, where do I? Oh God, I'm hot about this. Let's just
We only have
off
a half
recent,
hour.
off recent. Yeah, I'm gonna speak for everybody though. Off
No,
recent memory, the Broncos game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what y'all think about. Was it a catch or not? But
It was a catch.
Oh, it
yeah,
was.
that's what I
Yeah.
think. So they call a BS call, my opinion. And then that ends up screwing that team from going on the playoffs. I mean, from going further. And then, we have another game. Was it that same day or the next day?
Cost the coach's job.
Yeah. And then the next game, the following day, the same situation happens, and they call it how it should have been called. So it's like, did you?
Mhm.
I mean, these are NFL refs, and
Mhm.
how are you getting it? Making this bogus call here and then trying to make it up. I can't stand it. I mean, you're costing people's livelihoods.
So one of the things that happens, and I mentioned this on my show yesterday. If you heard it, I just, for the ones who didn't, every year when training camp starts, normally like day 2 of training camp, they have a meeting with us and the referees. And the referees come in and they talk about not what they're going to do better, or, and I'm not calling out the referees. They do the best job they can. The problem is what I'm getting ready to say. What they do is they come in that meeting and they talk about the new rules for that year. And it's every year. This will be my 17th year. And it's every year it's been new rules, five new rules or whatever. And my thing is, it's too many rules. You can't remember half of them, let alone execute them properly, because it's just too much going on. And then you have to think these players are bigger and faster now. So the game is faster. It's more of literally a minute second that you have to make a call. But then you have all these things going through your mind. I'm sure these referees are doing that. And then the biggest thing, and this goes back to the full-time, potentially being full-time. Some of these guys are lawyers. Some of these guys are doctors. So they're coming out on Sunday, and let's just say that they have stuff going on from their job, their main job. Those are things that I think affect you mentally to keep you from being as sharp as you possibly could be. So for a league that's making billions of dollars, okay? Just got the new setup with Disney. Yay, I'm part of that. I appreciate it. But think about that money. There's more than enough money to go around. There's no reason for them not to have full-time referees. So let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's go. Good answer, Eric, on that. So let's go with Miss Sheila. What you think?
Well, I watched, the stories about Kansas City always getting the best calls.
Yep.
Over and over and over again. I watched one of their games when they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that he just talked about where the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a good idea. I think that we should have permanent referees. I think, full time.
Yep.
So, that's my agree. I agree.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Shauno, what you think?
What's up, family? Good to see everybody.
Yep.
Basically, I feel that it should be full-time. That may help with the integrity, especially with the in-game betting, that kind of thing. And I have noticed that, well, if these lawyers, attorneys, doctors, or whatever, if they have to give up the position to keep their real job, then you can bring some younger folks in who take it serious. Yeah, you kind of groom them the way you want them to be.
Yeah.
And so, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just going to say a little bit later on, that is the possibility that if you're going to make someone full time, some of them are probably going to be like, I make more money over here. Can't do that. Or time constraints. They couldn't do both. So that'll be interesting to see. I think they'll probably let the ones who are currently on stay on, but then you can bring in the new younger guys that you can groom to hopefully sooner than later replace some of the current referees. So good point there, Shawno. All right, Oscar, what's up? What's going on with you over there in Istanbul?
Good to see you, Lake. Good to see everyone. Hi
Good
from
to see you.
Istanbul. Yeah,
What's up, man?
full-time referees definitely sound amazing, Lake, because the fairer is the game, the better it's gonna get. Sometimes we lose ourselves, when we hear that Booth cannot check this, Booth cannot check that, and we all go crazy. So it sounds like a great idea to me. Hope it works.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go with Allison. What's going on, Allison?
What's up, everybody? What's good, Lake?
Good to see you, brother.
I definitely think permanent rest for sure. Anytime you can try to have somebody full time and where they don't have a second job or second career, and this is their priority, is a good thing. So definitely try to put them on permanently if possible.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go with Gerard. What's going on, Gerard?
Hey,
What up,
family, how's
G?
everybody? All right,
What
all
up,
right.
G?
I'm all about full-time refs. That sounds good. Anything that can improve the game, that can make it as fair as possible for every team, I am all about. But I will say, if you're going to do this, please make sure you can give them work where they can study the whole year, even in the off season, and let the pay be competitive. Let the pay be good.
Yeah, I think
That's
the
what I
pay.
would say.
I think the pay should be the highest, and I understand that they'll have the least amount of games as far as all the professional sports in the U.S. But the NFL second to none. It's just
That's right.
it is what it is. I mean, they're playing 18 games regular season, and the NBA is playing what 82, and Major League Baseball is what like 167 or something.
162, yeah.
162, and you think of all of those games, and yet the NFL still made like $6 billion more and growing because that's not even attributing the TV deals. I mean, they're getting ready to make a boatload of money. So these referees could come in, and this, like you said, Shauno said it, you could take this job real serious. Like this could be your one and only job that you could come in as a 21-year-old, maybe 25. Okay, maybe they cap it as at a starting age, but let's just say 25. You could take this up until you're 65. I mean, so that way the referees, and you're going to know them by name, all of them. I think that would make the game better. So let me keep this thing rolling here. Let's go right now with Miss Benet. Miss Benet, how are you?
I'm wonderful, everyone. Hello from Southern California. I won't tease you about my weather today. It's not as hot today.
I was wondering if it was coming.
It's not as hot today. But I'm going to do a shout out to all the Aries on the platform. Aries, Gerard, I think Aries is there. Okay, all right. I turned 75 yesterday, so shout out to
Happy birthday.
There you go.
Okay.
Happy birthday. Happy
I was
birthday.
going to say, I was literally getting ready to say, what'd you turn, 30, 35?
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
75,
Smooth.
75,
Lake
75.
is smooth.
Marvelous.
Thank you. In response to your question, I'm going to say full-time. But quick question, how many refs are there in the league, though? Do we have a count?
I think the count, if from last time I remember, it was approaching 70, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, yeah, it might be a little more than that, actually, because the crews now have expanded to what is a 4-game, and you got, 16 games, or not 16 games, but you have 8, 9, and so on any given weekend, you're looking at, maybe that's what it is, on a given weekend, you're looking at like 70. So it could be probably more. I would say maybe 100, but I would get that number up. So people aren't tired. They're not having, because some referees call a game, and then you might see them on the Monday night game or the Thursday night game or the Sunday night game. So there might be fatigue, and that's around their full-time job. So
right. With the travel and everything.
Yeah, good stuff, Miss Benet. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go Miss Jen, and then we'll follow her up with Miss Erica, because I love our ladies in our group here. We definitely do. All right. So let's go with Miss
Well,
Jen.
happy birthday to Miss
Thank
Renee,
you.
and
Thank
also
you.
congrats to Miss Sheila on her 1 year.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Amen. Amen.
And all the women, Erica, thank you so much for being kind when I just sort of decided to join. But anyways, just real quick, I know that Brandon's in the film business and they do unions for certain things. It
Mm-hmm.
may be an idea. I don't forgive me because I'm not sure if they do have this, but if there was incentives or health insurance or some type of referee type of union, it would give maybe young people an idea that it could be a full-time position. And also, I think it would be helpful if they were younger, because I just looked up that you have to pass rigorous physical tests and you have to be, you have to have a lot of experience, but they could really maybe do some incentives to get them more interested and do full-time. I think that would be good.
Yeah, I think it would be wonderful. And I also want to throw this out there, just me being me and kind of thinking out the box. But the league likes to do a lot of stuff with the military.
Right.
I think though that
Good
refereeing
point.
job could be a heck of a job to transition military guys coming from overseas, to
Yes.
give them an
Perfect.
opportunity to be part of something that could be very regimented for them
Yeah.
and fun at the same time. So
It would be
that's just
perfect
me
for
throwing
them.
that out there. So yeah, yep.
Yes, it's perfect for that. And I think if they can, incentivize people to really look at this as a long career and really give them, health insurance, or maybe there's a union of refs. I mean, maybe there already is. I'm not sure. Don't know. But
Yeah.
as a full-time position, it'd be great to have people more enthusiastic, and also might help people not get tired and maybe make calls that we want to get back, because I know Eric's right about that call. And if it happened to our team,
A lot.
we would have
It happens all the time to us.
It's a
Well,
lot.
I'm saying if we were in
Yeah.
that situation
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
Good
yeah, I
stuff.
totally agree. I
Well,
agree
it
with
happened with
everybody.
Terry. It happened with Terry. Like,
I
they come
know.
lining up off sides. Like, what are y'all looking at?
Well,
Yeah.
And then the
normally
booth up.
normally a wide receiver checks with the line judge, and the
Yeah.
line every time. And if you're not up and they see the formation is that you need to be on the line of scrimmage, you'll see the line judge tell the receiver to
Yeah.
move up, or he'll
Yeah,
tell
they're
him to
not.
back off.
Yep.
And they didn't do that, which was and we're talking
Yeah.
Terry too. Terry, respected guy, nice dude. No
He's
offense, but
thorough.
this wasn't George Pickens lining up over there. You know what I'm saying? It was Terry. That was bad. I shouldn't have thrown George out there like that. But just it was kind of a Cowboys thing. But yeah, you would think that the referee would have said, Terry, you got to move up, or whatever, and he didn't do it. That's inexperience right there. That's literally
Right.
what that is. So that's a good point. Yeah.
The problem was that he asked whether you want to
He
move it too.
absolutely asked. He sure did,
I see
Greg.
give a thumbs up.
So I just, again, sometimes you think the Snyder era, people didn't like it, and it's carried over, but hopefully all
paying
that
for
stuff
it.
is
Yeah.
clean. Yeah, clean it up a little bit. All right, so let's keep it rolling. Let's go with Miss Erica. What's going on, Miss Erica?
What up, fellas and ladies? How
Hello.
y'all doing today?
Happy
Happy Friday.
Hello.
Happy
Hello,
Friday.
Miss Erica.
So listen, I think full-time referees is great. But I will say, just like you were saying about the military, Lake, I think how they honor the high school coaches of the year and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Maybe they should go out and venture out to high schools and look at their referees and just see who would be interested in things like an opportunity like this. I think
That's a good
they can
idea.
broaden their market a little bit
Right.
more.
Yeah.
But I also think that it should be a lot of, if they're going to do this full time and you're requiring them to have so much training and so much knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
then we
Mm-hmm.
need to be they need to be holding them accountable for those terrible calls that we get, So I just think that it's a great opportunity, but let's challenge them to,
Yeah.
go out there and reach another market, because you never know what you can get,
You know
but
who
how the league is. They go with who they know. They go, but that's just my that's just my take. That's just my take. But I think it's a great idea.
You know who else could benefit from that too? Former players.
Oh yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Like, that's what I just wanted to ask you.
Yeah. It could be players that maybe not so much older players, like like in their 60s, but I mean like players who may have had their career, or maybe had their career cut short. We see a lot of player settlements. Every training camp there's an injury that goes under. And it's a player that maybe people don't know about, that their career was over. And you could keep them around the game.
Never work.
Someone call Ryan Kerrigan. He's got 3 girls in school here, probably.
Yeah. Well, Willis, you said that would never work?
No, because there'd be way too many conspiracy theories about players having
like favoritism on the player,
or like connections, or that would never fly.
They just have to implement a grading system.
Exactly. You would have to be accountable. And to me, maybe that's my biggest weakness in the world, is that I believe in people maybe too much. But the point is, you can't go into anything thinking it's not going to work. You have to be given proof that it's not working. And I think that some players, I do know, struggle with the transition from the football world as a whole into the normal pedestrian, where now you got to get up, you got to go put your suit on or whatever, you got to go do your job, and it's nothing to do with football. I know a lot of people, they struggle with that mightily. So this could be, just different opportunities. Well, let's keep it rolling here. Let's keep it moving.
I like that.
There's no rule. It says that NFL former players can become referees.
There is no rule. And again, so I mean, you might have some coaches to get fired. Like, they want to sharpen their tools up, so to speak, with how the referees call games, because that's what got you fired. So that could be something. So let's keep it going. Let's go with Greg Dasher. What's going on, Greg?
Hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
What's up, G?
Locust Grove, Georgia here. But I agree with that. Definitely, I think they should have been done it for real, man. They make so much money over there. They could pay them guys or pay somebody. So I'm all for that. We need that.
Okay. All right.
Last year was horrible when making calls. So
I mean, they were getting people. they were getting people, and I'm not a big conspiracy theory person. But even I was in the press box like, they really going to do that? They really are going to call that? And sometimes Jaden was getting hit like unnecessarily. And
you mean all the time?
No calls, no nothing. I mean, I'm just like, after a while, it's not like, if you're watching this program for the first time, you're thinking we're on here whining. No, this has been a real thing for this franchise for a while. And I think, it's been bad. So, all right. So let's keep it rolling here. Let's go with Marcus. What's going on, Marcus?
What's going on, guys? Hey, Lake.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. I think it's a great idea to hire full-time referees. I would say, if we can give them almost full autonomy, to kind of like, self-regulate themselves, I think that'll also help, because, they're going to get influenced by the NFL and still make the same, leaning decisions. I think it's a good idea. I had one more point that just escaped me though, but I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Good stuff. All right, let's go with our wily vets now. I got them all on the same row. This is how I'm calling this. So, no favoritism being played. It's just how I'm seeing it on the board. But this row coming up this is like murderer's row right here, because it's in this order. It's going to be Rev, then we got Raleigh, then we got Willis, then we got Big Bud, and then we got Dave Fernandez bringing us out. All right, so let's go with Rev. What's going on, Rev?
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hey, Rev, what up,
What's up, Rev?
I missed you guys as I was sitting in the jury box. or and then Lake asks a question like this. So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, upon preponderance of the evidence, I believe.
I can't hardly hear him. I can't hear you, Rev.
I can hear him just fine.
Oh, I can hear. We can hear.
Me too. Yeah, I hear him good.
Okay. All right. Sorry.
I know this baritone rocks.
Barry White.
All right. Ask my wife for 32 years, you know. I'm just saying. But I missed y'all. But you know, Marcus had touched on it, and I believe Willis as well. Definitely with the amount of money, self-governing is I'm not in favor. I believe the concept can work, but it would definitely have to be some outside oversight. Okay, we can't have the puppeteer or the influence of the more seasoned owners. I'm gonna try to keep this clean, but I think you can read between the lines and catch what I'm saying. So it would have to be like the concept of New York coming in and making the call or the oversight, but it would definitely have to be an outside oversight outside of, like, the influence still can't remain internal, or we're not changing anything. Exactly. And then, like you said, with the amount of rules, you know, you got a rule for the rule for the rule. Human behavior and fatigue and all that is always going to have its influence in there. But my biggest fear with that would be, and you know, if you think about Pete Rose situation and things like that, like the accountability would have to be, you know, we're talking about giving them, and the benefits I believe would come if it's made a job. Benefits would come along with it. You can't have an organization like that and not have all that included. But at the same time, the way that, you know, the players are fine, you know, within those rules. So to make you function at a, you know, a more hypersensitive level about, I need to get this call right, because it does come with certain consequences for that. Because like you said, coaches have been fired, you know, and etc. There's been some major ramifications for, you know, missed calls. So that's my nickel's worth.
Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff as always. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I remember what I was going to say before you move to next. The one last thing I was going to say was I like the idea of bringing in the young people, because I think they adapt better to the new technology, and I think technology can help in the right way. I don't really agree with the whole AI thing with the little ball placement of the line. I don't like that technology, but I think some of the new technology can help, you know, better, especially like instant replays. There's no reason why with all the technology you can't get a play right. You know, that's just insane.
Yeah. Good point. I mean, you know, it's called progress, you know, like I do these shows, you know, with Meta glasses on. These are the ones that have the screen in the inside. So every now and then I may look cross-eyed to you because I see a message popping up in my lens. But the point I'm making is that when I was in Indianapolis and I was interviewing, you know, players and even, you know, when I was talking with Adam Peters, I had these metas on, and that's what recorded that video. And people are like, "Oh, your cameraman did a great job." You mean the glasses? It's technology, and I think that everyone has to adapt. You know, you don't have to get these, but I'm just saying you have to adapt in today's world, or you'll get left behind. And the league has the money to get the best technology. That's the thing that I'm saying. It doesn't have to be any old technology just to say you're doing it. But like I've never understood why they still, maybe for the, you know, the theatrics of it, or maybe for the visuals of it, the tradition of it, to have the chain gang. Man, you can just put a laser line across the field, literally, and you'll be able to see it on the field. Players would, and you'll be able to see it on television. So the point is that adapt. You have to be able to do that. So good stuff. That's a good point there, Marcus, and also Rev. So let's go with Raleigh here. And Raleigh, I appreciate you calling in or texting me yesterday on the show. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. Well, hey, everybody from Austin, Texas.
What's
Great
up,
to
Raleigh?
be here. Missed you guys
What's up,
last
man?
Friday. I had something come up, but you were on my mind. Anyway, definitely all for full time, but not just full time for full time's sake. I just want to see consistency and I want to see professionalism. We oftentimes we hear, oh, this is the crew that's going to be calling this game. We're probably going to see more holding calls. It's just kind of like, wow, that just blows me away. The other thing is this is the idea of being well paid is perfect because you want it to be a job somebody doesn't want to lose. Okay. It's a job you aspire to and you work hard to keep it because once again, it is well paid and it should have a lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? Well thought after in that position. But
a lot
I
of
mentioned
benefits to it.
benefits to it, but I think something should accrue to you. If you're known as one of the best referees in the league, I think that should be something you aspire to, and it just helps in that. But yesterday, I think Blake, when I wrote you, I misstated some things. My opinion is I want to see more use of instant replays, and my thinking was let's give the coaches one more challenge, and literally let them challenge anything. I mean, we remember the games where, we just made a great play and they just called our defensive tackle for face masking and they grabbed the shoulder pad and it was available. It was to see, but something that you can't call. Or how many times I just remember a game against the Giants, but Terry, I think, was just wide open in the end zone and he was getting mugged and there was no call whatsoever. And there wasn't an ability to do that. So I think accountability might come from the coach's challenge, instant replay, once again, because that's a challenge to the efficiency of the referees. And if that's there, along with it being a full-time job, and I think your ideas about military people, high school coaches, former players, whoever it is, you have to meet those qualification standards. And I just think it will improve the game because you had mentioned there's only 18 games. There ain't 82 or whatnot. You lose one game because of a bad call.
It's crucial.
That's hard to make up. It just is. Anyway, we're all passionate about it as fans. I'm glad you brought it up. One thing I just want to mention just popped up on my phone. Totally other subject. I can't hardly believe this. Florida Attorney General has just basically ruled that the Rooney Rule is against the law.
So,
and I'm going like, really? Is this really what
Well, let me say this. This might surprise some of you. I hate the Rooney Rule. That might surprise you. The reason why I hate the Rooney Rule, I love the intent of it. I love what it was supposed to be. But people used that against us. They used it against us. And this is a perfect example. 10 new coaches this year. 2 brothers are coaches. I mean, nepotism at the highest of all levels. The Rooney Rule was being used against us, where it was basically you went to the one black coach on your staff and interviewed him, got that out the way because you knew he had no shot, and you went and got who you wanted. So for the attorney general to say this against the law, we know why the attorney general in today's climate. Okay, we already know what that is. But the law should be that people who are qualified should have an opportunity to get a job. That should be the law, and that's not the law. So unfortunately, this is what we're dealing with. So let me say this again. To the Rooneys, putting that rule out there, loved it, and I commended them. And I can say it, I commended them as white men doing that. And they practiced what they preached because they hired Mike Tomlin. So it wasn't lip service. The point is, though, is that far too many others use that against people to get them up in there. So maybe by the attorney general saying that now, and we understand in this climate of politics that why that was said, but maybe something good could come from this next year because it didn't happen this year, unfortunately. So let's keep it moving with Willis. What you think, Willis?
Uncle Will, what you talking
about? Hey, Will, what you talking about, Willis?
Look at that smile.
presuming you're going to be in Arizona, that would be great to have.
No, I hate hearing what I just heard, and then I'm going to go to Arizona too. Sorry, but yeah, go ahead. I know you're out there, Willis.
Okay, so here's my point. I think Rev started the train of where I was about to get into, talking about using technology more, and Marcus as well, and then of course you did as well, like. But here's my thought on this: is okay. So backing up, I saw a video or an interview a couple of years back of the referees that go through currently. I mean, yeah, it's true, it's a part-time job, but they are on consistent training patterns throughout the entire year. They're constantly working behind the scenes to do what they do, and they definitely take it very seriously. But that's irrelevant because at the end of the day, we've seen the final result, and that's kind of where I'm leading. I think having a full-time referee is kind of irrelevant. The human error is still going to happen regardless, because as you started off saying, Lake, it's everything's happening in a blink of an eye. You know, that's not going to change. You know, whether you're full-time or part-time, it's still going to be a blink of the eye, and you're going to start making mistakes. And so to what Rev was saying and Marcus was saying and Raleigh was saying is we need technology to be a much bigger role in this than the human factor, you know, because it's just going to make the game cleaner overall and more efficient.
That's a valid point. You know, let me say this as far as Major League Baseball. Okay, when you see an umpire clearly missing strikes, what do people say? They don't say
he should be out.
Well, no, they don't say he's a terrible umpire. He should never be in that job. What they say is he has a different strike zone. That's what they say. They'll bail him out and say, no, his strike zone is just different.
Mm-hmm.
But they never question if he's a good umpire. They just say his strike zone's bad. You know, it's not my strike zone. So they say the pitcher has to adapt to his strike zone. That's because that's a full-time referee or full-time umpire. So they don't question his, you know what I'm saying? They don't question his acumen as an umpire. They just question one specific thing. So you might have full-time referees in the NFL who are missing calls, but people are going to know that specific referee calls press man coverage a little tighter than the next referee. Right. But they won't question him as a referee because it's a full-time job. If that makes sense, what I'm saying. I think.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I mean, in a multi-billion-dollar industry, we should be looking for consistency from one game to the other, so the players don't 100%. Have to second guess what the referees are bringing into the game.
I don't know if there is a way to get a perfect ref. Okay, we definitely don't want
robots in the next.
Yeah, we don't want to do that because then the robots going to think they can catch the football themselves.
I think
there's always going to be mistakes. You just got limited. I mean, why are there games like, especially the playoffs with the Broncos? Great game called until overtime, and then it's just a bunch of BS happens. I'm like, what happened with the first four quarters?
Yeah,
well, and Eric, to that point too, we've seen a lot of games where they're going, "Hey, this is the playoffs. They're just going to let them play."
I'd be fine with that.
What the heck does that mean? It should be the same. Why are the playoffs? Every game is important.
I'm a huge proponent that, in certain games you bite your whistle. You swallow your whistle.
Yeah,
do it for all of them.
The game should be decided by a call. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I'm not be decided by a whistle.
I'm a huge proponent of that. As a former basketball player, I can say there were times where I'm like, man, you knew the game was perfect example. Like earlier today, I know it's a different sport, and I still got to get Big Bud on and Dave Fernandez as well. But earlier today, I was watching Pat McAfee and Mike Krzyzewski was on there. Coach K was on there, and Coach K, when he said it, I cringed, and they even got a chuckle out of it. But he said in tonight's St. John's Duke game, he said the only way you can neutralize some of these bigs, and he mentioned St. John's big was their player of the year in Big East, and he's physical. He said the best way to neutralize those guys is to get them in foul trouble so they can't be on the court. You guys already know. You guys already know what that meant, right?
Yep.
That guy's going to be in early foul trouble tonight. So again, if you let St. John's play their type of Big East basketball, Duke might be in trouble tonight. But I don't think the referees will allow for St. John's guys to beat up on Duke's players. You guys already know how that goes. So anyway, whole nother subject. So let's keep it rolling here. Let's go right now. So we still have to get Dave Fernandez and Big Bud on. So Big Bud, what's going on, my friend?
Ain't too much. How you doing, Lake?
Good to see you.
What up, Bud?
Good. What's going on, family? How y'all doing, man?
Yeah, great. Good to see you, buddy.
Good. I agree with hiring the referees full time. But also along with that, we got to take some of the power from them. Before they could send it to New York, they were really effing up. And New York was our savior because some of those plays, you have a different set of eyes looking at it. I think we need to change some of the rules and make it a little more team friendly. Maybe some of the things where there are automatic reviews, maybe add to that list. If anything is related to the quarterback, they automatically review that. I know adding time is going to make our experience longer, but I would rather add 15 minutes to a game and get it right than zip through it. And like my man say, you lose a game over a bad call.
Yeah, that's
as far as coaches and stuff, I agree with I forgot who said it, but they need more opportunity to challenge stuff as well. You got to take some if you're gonna have New York really help you out. You're going to really need to take the responsibility, most of it, kind of like off the referees. They're calling something, but they can always be checked.
Yeah.
That's been the problem. They're just not checked. They're doing what they want.
Well, the other thing that we noticed too, and those are all good answers, but is that how many times have we seen them go to the booth and now they have a retired senior official and that official's disagreeing with the calls on the field.
Yes.
And then sometimes it's been so bad lately, you see that senior official almost for the sake of not making those refs look bad, he'll say, well, I can understand why they did go that way. No. We can't have it both ways. It's either a bad call or the proper call. And unfortunately, we've seen the negative. We've seen the latter. So, yeah. So let's go with Dave Fernandez. And then over the last, 15, 20 minutes of the show today, we're going to talk about my pick, who I think the Commanders are going to take, and then we'll get your thoughts on that too. So, Dave Fernandez, what you think? What you think?
How you guys doing, man?
What up, Dave?
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Down here from South Florida.
Dirty Dave in the house.
Yes, sir. What I say is, we got to remember, back in the day when I started watching football, there was only 2 games going, Sunday and Monday night. So that's why, it was more of a part-time gig to these guys, and they kept their full-time jobs. And Lake, you said a very important word. You said adapt. The NFL hasn't adapted to the amount of games that they have now put on in the schedule to accommodate the referees for it. So in that sense, the way to adapt is making it a full-time job for these referees, because before it was just a hobby to these guys. Some of them it was just a hobby and it was just a part-time.
It could have helped their business too, by the way. Think about that.
Yep.
You get some airtime, and that's my doctor, my family, pediatrician or whatever. I mean, it could alter how you call a game and how much airtime you want to get as a ref.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so that's one of the things there. And to your point in baseball, I'm a big baseball guy. So I mean, football is my first love. Baseball
I know
is
you
my
was loving
second
the
love.
opening day yesterday or the
And
day before.
my Yankees. Go Yankees. But see, what I like about what they brought this year, that I think the NFL should bring something like that, is holding the umpires accountable. Because yes, you are right in a point where they would say, "Oh well, he has a different strike zone," but it only takes you so much. the famous guy out there that everybody can't stand is a referee called Angel Hernandez. This guy made his life making bad calls, and because of him and other umpires making bad calls, that's why they have the ABS now. Where now it freaking puts them on check, because when they call a bad strike or a bad ball, they go to the screen in front of everybody and they see where it fell, and they're like, "Oh crap, damn, I really messed up," you know. So
I like that.
they need to do something like that with the NFL, where okay, we got 2 challenges, but you know what? The challenges should be for every call, not just some call. Oh, this call you can't challenge it because it was done on the field. No BS. You know, if it's a challenge, it's a challenge, because those type of calls that supposedly quote unquote you can't call because it was called on the field, those are the ones that end up hurting the team and not letting them advance, and also hurt those coaches that lose the job.
Yep.
So it should be straight out
Absolutely.
flat all the way through.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Does someone have music on in the background?
Sorry,
No.
that's my grandson over there. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. I thought no, I heard some singing or something. That was all right.
And
You know,
Lake,
yeah.
real quick, this is
Mhm.
one point that I want to add. One thing that I don't care for with the NFL and the refs, when there's like a foul where, let's say, one player is shoved another player, they only go with, most of the time, the person who they see last.
The
Yeah, they
retaliators. Yeah.
retaliate. So to me, if they're gonna do this, they should be able to go back and see who actually started the issue.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of
That's
times they
fair.
just go
That's
with the
fair.
retaliate. Let's go with the
Yeah.
whole process.
Yeah,
That's
that's why I
fair.
say
You know, so
Say,
it
that's
should be
where
all the
I'm
way
at.
across. It should
I'm
be
a
all the way
rock by
across.
St. Brown.
Yeah,
Exactly.
We all hear
yeah.
about that Monday morning.
Yes, exactly.
The only thing is that, and I actually said this yesterday when Rolly had texted in to the show. I loved being able to have multiple challenges in a game. The problem is, though, it's going to be a time constraint problem. Like if you opened it
Yep.
up to challenge anything,
Yeah.
you do know that there will be some coaches, personality wise, that are
Yep.
going to challenge every single thing.
No,
And you just
No,
I would
but just
limit
leave
it.
the
You know,
two.
I
Just
would
leave the
limit it to
two.
3. I just think they ought to be able to challenge anything. Like I said, there are
Yeah.
things now that they're going, you can't challenge that. I'm going like, the
yeah,
guy
you
had
should
a
be
hold
able
of
to
his face
challenge
mask. I'm
anything.
challenging that.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
maybe
But what
but
I'm
this is
talking
the other
about is
thing.
not
If they,
even a challenge, like what I'm
yeah,
talking about, if the play happened, the ref should have the power just to go look without the coach's challenges.
Right.
It's just like in the NBA.
no, I
It
agree
could
with
be
you,
a
Gerard.
hard
But
Yeah.
foul, you know, like a
but
flagrant
Yeah.
foul. They automatically just go look at it and
yeah,
see if
yeah.
it should be
See,
a
but
flagrant
what if
foul
they
1 or
don't?
2.
But see, the problem is some of them won't. So you're gonna have
Right.
to
That's right.
you're gonna have to give them a nudge somehow, some way. Like if you
But if
had,
they're full time, it should be part of the rules and regulations. You
yeah,
see
yeah,
what I'm
yeah, yeah.
saying?
But you still will have that human error, and I agree with
Yeah.
you. I
But then he
think
get
maybe
penalized.
if they had like 4 per half, and
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
but
Right.
then also with the challenge, how many times have we seen referees go to the booth and it's taken forever for an obvious
Forever.
call? So
Well, like
maybe they need to put a time stamp on, okay, if you go to the booth, you have literally 90 seconds and you got to make a call one way
Absolutely.
or another. Then you can keep the
Absolutely.
game on pace, because you guys remember them NFL games used to last over 3 hours and for 60 minutes of
Minutes.
action on the
I
field.
know.
Three
Yeah.
Right.
hours. And we know where they're getting paid. And I understand how the check is coming because of advertisers. I get it. But you don't want to baseball sped up their stuff. And I'm going to throw another sport out there. Tennis. Tennis has the replay now where you can see the ball going over the line or
Right.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
and some of their games have become even faster because of
Yeah.
this. So,
Yep.
Right.
it's
So,
called adapt, and that's the
Well,
key
see,
thing.
Exactly.
like
Lake,
one
Mm-hmm.
That's the
one problem
technology.
that we had, is like you had, I think it was Buccaneers and Philly early in the season. The Buccaneers get, I think it was like an extra challenge when they didn't have any timeouts left.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
like, how?
it's
I'm glad because it was
loopholes.
against the Eagles, but I'm like, how is this possible?
Yeah,
so Lake,
loopholes.
before we
Yes, sir.
transition to the next topic, I had a
Uh-huh.
quick question. For
Hey,
the
Oscar, see you.
2024 season, Commanders versus Pittsburgh. Please raise your hand if you agree with the call that Ertz did not make that first down on fourth.
Oh my God.
No, nobody's gonna raise their hand. Everybody thought he had first downs on like 3-4 times during the season that they didn't give it to him.
Well, then they spot it. They bring the ball back like a yard, and I'm like, bro, 80,000 people just saw where the ball was, and how you bring it back a yard and a half.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think
that's a good point, Sean.
More cameras, better cameras. You know, is no reason why you can't get that stuff right.
Again,
they got more cameras
I
in
think
Bellagio than they do on an NFL field. That's crazy.
I think it's just the interpretation.
Yeah,
it's the interpretation of each individual referee of a muffled a muffled rule in their mind. That's what it is. It's like, is it really for progress, or how many times have we seen that? Sometimes they stop it back with for no reason. They blow the whistle, and then there's times where there's forward progress, and they let them get pushed back. So it's like, what's the rules here? So we can move on from that. I think we're all in agreement that it definitely can be cleaned up and getting better. So, and hopefully they do that by bringing up that. I thought as a non-Commanders subject, but it does affect the Commander. So you see how we did that. So for everybody out there, we tied it together. All right. So speaking of the Commanders, yesterday on my show, I just saw all week long, and shout out to my folks, to Lil Sis Candy, Waller, and David Harrison. They went to Columbus for pro day, and Donna and me stayed back. Donna and me were gonna go to Notre Dame, and then I'm like, look, I don't know if I want to go watch a guy that they're not getting. So I made a consensus, point to stay back. And so I'll be at the league meetings, and then next month I'll be in Pittsburgh for the draft. Then I'll be in Orlando after that. And then it's going to be on at that point. But I wanted to really break down who I thought realistically could be there for the Commanders at number 7, and why I think you have to take this guy. And to me, I think it's going to be the pick. Just from folks I've spoken with, I'm comfortable thinking that this could be the pick, unless another team obviously throws a wrench into that. So yesterday on my show, I said the Washington Commanders at pick number 7 were going to end up selecting Reuben Bain Jr. And I said there's 7 to 8 blue chip players in this draft. Washington's going to get one of them regardless. And it's not going to be a consolation prize by no means. It's going to be a football player that helps change their franchise, rather it be on offense with, Carnell Tate and Jeremiah Love, or rather it's on defense. But I went through the list of people that I've spoken with that cover teams, and some other folks, maybe a little higher up in them buildings. I think Reuben Bain's going to be sitting there, y'all. I do. I absolutely do. I think Carnell Tate and Reuben Bain are sitting there. And there's an outside chance that David Bailey could be there at 7. Okay. David Bailey, phenomenal athlete, but technique wise needs some work. Okay. You're going to start hearing about all this stuff as the weeks get closer. This isn't to knock on any of these guys, because I just actually said that any of these guys could be the number 2 pick in the draft. That's how good these 7 to 8 players are. We already know Mendoza's 1, but 2 through 7 until Washington picks. Any of these guys that are going to be sitting there at 7 could have easily been the number 2 pick. I'm saying Reuben Bain because some teams a little higher are going to start talking that nonsense about the arms and all that stuff. And if you're the Commanders, yes, you went out and you spent some money on Odafe Owe. We are, by the way, got to shout him out. He's a Penn Stater. And then Cave Levon Chasen, they went and got, from New England. And I said it, brilliant moves. These guys are great edge rushers, young edge rushers whose best football is ahead of them. But having gone back and watched the tape and looked at a lot of film on these guys were situational players. These guys were guys that are pass rush specialists. And I think Adam's betting that now they can take their games to the next level and be every down players. But one thing that I know to be true, Reuben Bain Jr. is an every down football player, and he's violent and he's disruptive. And I think that if he's there at 7, I don't care that you got those other guys. You can never have enough guys bringing pressure on a quarterback. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
I agree
So
with
if
that.
Reuben Bain is sitting there at 7, and you might have, the corner, Delane Mansour, Delane from
That's who I'm on.
LSU. He's nice. He's legit.
That's
But
who
you
I'm on.
but you went out and signed another corner, who's got some starting experience with the Rams. He's not a number one corner by no means. I don't even want to fool anybody. But some of the moves that this team has made has kind of told me that they've given themselves some wiggle room here. When you went out and you brought in all these running backs, not saying that none of them are Jeremiah Love, I'll say that. But collectively, you can get everything that you need with the collection of what you have in that running back room. Now you're going out getting some people in your secondary. So Caleb Downs, I know a lot of people like Caleb Downs. I don't think Caleb Downs is going to be there at 7. So the reason why I'm saying Reuben Bain and I'm feeling more comfortable about it is because I think Sonny Styles, I think Arvell Reese, I think David Bailey, I think Caleb Downs are all phenomenal football players, just like Reuben Bain. But I think all those guys will be gone at by 7. Okay. So we'll fire it up. You guys, we've got about 6, 7 minutes. So
20 seconds.
so let's keep our answers real short here. So let's fire it up and we're gonna go counterclockwise. So we'll start with David Fernandez. What you think?
Yeah, man. It's very intriguing, this 7th pick, man. I think it's got to be one of the most intense picks that we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the game of chess that everyone is just playing, with their mock drafts and everything in the league. But I'm just gonna bring out one name in regards to Vane with this nonsense about his arms, Dwight Freeney.
Very, very astute. And that's who someone asked me, who's my comp? And I'm gonna give you another guy too that they said, was undersized. Remember Aaron Donald? You guys remember coming out of Pitt, people were like, I don't know, he's a little undersized. Might be the greatest tackle of all time. So again, I don't go by, I know I was in Indy and I go there every year and I hate it. I get excited to go to see these young guys, but I hate it when I see these young guys get torn down because if you can't find anything in this game and all you got is that this guy can't take change out of his pocket, that's not telling me much because I know what I saw on Saturdays and I know what I saw when he went up against the best. He was tossing guys like a rag doll. I'm okay with it. So good stuff there. So let's keep it rolling. Let's go. Let's go, Gerard. Oh yeah, I was about to call you. So go ahead.
All
What's
right,
up?
cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get ready to go. So I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and give you my answer real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the same way what you said earlier. I think AP has covered every position, pretty much but the center. But I can deal with Allegretti at the center right now. But so I feel we are comfortable to pick whatever because we got the depth in every position. If it came down to Bain, I'm gonna take the corner from
Okay.
LSU.
Okay.
That's what if that was the case. But
Right.
my heart is love, But I know he probably won't be there, but that's still my heart. But if not, I would take the LSU corner over Bain because I
Okay.
think for the same exact reason you said, we got those guys in those positions all the way around the board. In my opinion.
I just,
have a good weekend.
and,
Have a
and
good
that's a
weekend,
good
G.
one.
Yes,
Yep. Have a good
yes.
one. Have a good
All
one.
right, y'all be blessed.
All right.
All right, bro.
All right. So let's keep it rolling. Let's go,
Take
Greg
care,
Dasher.
All right. Hey, I wouldn't be mad at Bain. I just don't know if he'll fit what they want to do because they keep talking about long and all of that type stuff. But he is a dog. I got to give you that. He's a dog.
Mm-hmm.
And the only offensive player I would think deemed worthy enough to be at the 7, this is just my take, is Love. And I don't think he'll be there, to be honest with you. I don't think he'll be there. So one of the defensive guys, my hope is Sonny Styles. That's who I want that's who I want in this uniform, right? I don't think he'll be. It's possible he might not be there, but it's possible he might be there because if you look at it, I figure the Giants will pick him, and if he don't get picked by the Giants, I really don't think Cleveland will pick him, and I think we got a shot. So that's my take, man.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. I think Caleb Downs goes to the Giants. So I'm just putting that out there. Because I think, with Harbaugh,
I agree with that.
Look at his history with the Ravens.
I agree with that.
He always had a safety, right? Ed Reed and Kyle Hamilton. I think the Giants need that. So because they already have their edge rushers and all those guys, so Sonny Styles could be in play there too. I mean, all these guys, like I said, they could easily go at number 2 to Tennessee. I'm sorry, number 2 as it's New York Jets. Yeah, Tennessee's 4. And I could see Caleb Downs go number 2. I could see Jeremiah Love go number 2 to the Jets. It's wide open. Washington's going to get a good football player, and it's all speculation. It's just my opinion. But I don't know, man.
I actually think Bain going to go to Tennessee, man, because I just can't see what's my man's name?
Saleh, Robert Saleh.
I don't think he's passing that up, bro. I just don't see him passing them up.
They traded with the Jets for a guy that he was high on when he was the coach with the Jets. Defensive lineman.
I understand that though, but the way it's built with Jeffrey Simmons, all of them guys they got, bro, he's gonna add to that line, dog, and that rotation gonna be fierce. They're gonna be something. They ain't gonna be, I don't know how my man Ward gonna be. I think he's a good player. He's not JD5, of course, but
he needs some help on that offense, though. That's why I say Jeremiah Love.
It could be. He's right. It could be.
Good stuff.
We'll see.
Right.
We'll see.
Yes, sir. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's go with Willis here. And let's try. It's 7:20, so let's try to keep our answers kind of short so we can get everybody through here by like 7:30. Okay. All right.
Agree almost everything with what Gerard said because I want Love if he's available. If not, I would like to get Delane, but the truth of the matter is whoever our consolation prize is going to be amazing. So
amazing.
I'm super excited to find out who it is. Yeah, but we're going to get somebody great. So
good stuff. All right, Eric. 20 seconds, Eric.
Hey, all right. Yeah, nah, man. Honestly, Bain at 7 would be a steal, I think. But yeah, like I said, I could see him going Tennessee, a solid defensive guy. But for real, if all the guys are on, just the way, just kind of like that, we're several players away from being like good. If we got an offer we can refuse from trading back, I can see that. But I would personally, I think our biggest need is either someone in the secondary or another receiver weapon. So I like all the guys we could potentially get, but that would be the two spots that I would say is probably, if I had a list going on, that'd probably be the 2 spots that I would say is our biggest.
45 seconds, Eric.
Where's Sandman Sims when you need him?
Good stuff, brother. Yeah.
Right.
I was going to let you go, but you got the 45, but you doubled the time, so that's all right. So good stuff, though. All right, so let's go now we'll go Ellison.
I gotta go. I'll see y'all later.
Okay, take care. So we got Ellison, then we have Erica, then we have Miss Benet, then we have Rev, and then we'll go up to the next block. All right, so Ellison, you're up.
I would love Jeremiah Love. I would love for him to be the pick. If not, if he's gone, I'll take either Bailey or Bain. I love David Bailey as well, but consolation prize with Bain is the guy. I love him, even with the short arms. But go ahead and roast me in the comments, all the people out there. You can, after I say what I'm about to say, I wouldn't mind be opposed to trading back a couple spots to take Jordan Tyson from Arizona State either.
So you know what? I propose that as well. Only if one of those 7 to 8 blue chippers are still there and you see who's behind you the next 2, 3 picks, if you know for a fact, and this is where you have to do your due diligence, if you're Adam and you got to call people you know, and call the GM and say, if you lie to me, I'm coming after you. But if you know that they're not going to go out for one of the guys that you like, and you can possibly finagle a third rounder, you're not going to get a second rounder, but you could finagle a high third round in this draft, and you still get the 11th, 12th pick. I think you have to consider that. And Jordan Tyson is a really nice prospect. I like him a lot. Another Arizona State guy. He does have that checkered injury history, though. That's the only thing that concerns me. Young guys don't, when you don't, I never will label a young kid injury prone. Me at 55 with a torn Achilles and a broken leg, and I mean, a torn rotator, I got it all. If you 20 and you had an injury in college, you're good. Trust me. I'll pick you. I don't worry about that. Now, if they say you got degenerative bone growth or something like that, then that might scare me off. So I think Jordan Tyson's going to be a heck of a football player, and he's a big downfield vertical threat, something this offense could use. So good stuff there. All right. So let's go with Miss
And
Eric. Yes.
Nate, there's another name that was surfacing that I heard. It was at around 7. If those guys are gone, it's Makai Lemon.
You guys know I'm a big Makai Lemon fan too. If you like Amon St. Brown, that's his clone, and he'll tell you that. That's his idol. That's his guy. They're both USC guys. A little different, I will say it, Indy. He kind of caught me off guard a little bit with the swaying at the podium and stuff. But you know what? He's a dog and he's a football player. I don't need you to be a choir boy. I need you to produce on Sundays. We can clean that stuff up. I'll have somebody watch you at all times and make sure. So yeah, that I'll get around that. Trust me. If you can give me my numbers on Sunday, I'll look out for you. Your best interest. All right. So let's go with Miss Benet.
I'm gonna go with Love. I've watched a couple podcasts, different things. I even watched Bob Schaefer's listing, and he seems to think Love is still going to be sitting there. So that's who I'm going to go with. I don't know how accurate he is, but he said the other teams were going to pass on him. So I'm going to stick with Love.
I just have a hard time believing that the best player in this draft, who I think is Jeremiah Love, is going to fall to 7. That's why I said I'm not going to Notre Dame to watch him run. Why am I going to go up there and get my blood pressure raised up for something I'm not going to get? So, yeah, we'll see.
That way he can play with my favorite player, my favet quarterback, Jaden.
I mean, it would be deadly. It really would.
Yeah.
And then Terry's career would get prolonged because of that too. So we'll see. So let's go. I think I skipped you, Miss Erica. I apologize.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, okay, I apologize.
It's all good. It's all good. All good. I just created my own YouTube page, so this is one of the things that I was going to talk about is like whoever we draft at 7. If we're going to draft a receiver at 7, they got to be a dog. They got to be, because we don't know what's going to happen with Terry. So I don't know if those receivers are warranted at 7 for me. That's just for me. My pick would be Love. The only offensive player that I think that is worthy at 7 is Love. If he's not there, then I kind of agree with you with Bane. I like Sonny Styles as well. I like Caleb Downs, but no matter who we get, they're gonna be a dog. It don't matter.
100%, 100%. Good stuff. All right, let's go Rev, and then we'll go Raleigh, and then we'll go Big Bud. Okay, and then I'm just working up as far as the ladder. Unfortunately, Miss Sheila and Shano, you would be the last two, but
good.
it's okay because I helped y'all start us off today. So, all right, so let's go with Rev.
Real simple. I'm satisfied with everything that has been done, so I don't care. They've already have shown their worth that we're sitting where we're at. So I'm just it's wait and see for me. And then even more so, what's on the feet, what's going to hit the field on Sunday, even after all of this. That's what, almost 40 years of fandom has done. Is it doesn't make a difference. Again, I said about the underwear Olympics and how good that 300-pound lineman on the other side of the line is the best of the best also, you know. So you were up against boys in college, you know, even with the SEC, but it's a different story over in that NFL. So I can only trust in what Adam is cooking. And
Okay.
so far, he's put together some pretty decent ingredients. He has us hopeful. So I'm staying neutral on it.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Raleigh, you're up.
Yeah. I listened to you yesterday and you made me a convert. Like, I liked your logic. And if Bain is there, I could get excited for this reason. If he's on the field with our edge rushers, the pressure we could put on with four is going to help us immensely. And I agreed. I went back and looked at some tape, and he's awesome against the run. So he is. So if we've got pressure up the middle and these guys coming from the sides, that could be a deal maker. And the other thing is this: I'm holding out hope we got a Uke coming. And then I watched Logan Paulson a lot, and he just has exposed me to players I don't even know about that are down the draft that are just incredible. I mean,
Logan's
the
my guy.
athletes out there are amazing. We're focusing on these top 7, but holy smoke. So anyway, you converted me. If we could get Bain, I'm excited about that, and I appreciate your insights better than mine.
All right, good stuff. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. All right, so let's go with Big Bud. Then after Bud, we got Jen, Marcus, and Oscar. Okay.
All right. I didn't pick a favorite until today. That favorite I know when I be there at 7, which is Caleb Downs. After getting some information from Ben Standig today, I heard that Denzel Boston visited us. I would trade back and get him. I watched some film of him today. My God, that man is something.
He's a dog.
6'4", 212 pounds. Go get him. I'm done.
Okay, good stuff.
I'm gonna throw another receiver out there. That's KC Concepcion as well.
I like him, but
yes,
I don't know if he. I know David Blah wants vertical, and in case he's got some speed, don't get me wrong, but he plays more physical than he does as a speed guy, you know. So I think they want a lengthy body at receiver if they're going to do that. So that's where the Tates and the Tysons come into play.
That kid George from Georgia State, don't sleep on him.
No,
I forgot his name.
I'm gonna give you guys another name to remember. It's not. It's you know. I want to get everybody on here so we can wrap it up. But I want you guys to really pay attention to the kid, the running back Washington out of Arkansas. Okay.
Mike, you talking about Mike Washington?
Yes.
Mike Washington.
Yes.
I'm telling you guys, he's in play. And if you look at the moves that they've made, if you look at the moves that they've made it in the running back room, I don't want to say none of them can do it, but they really don't have that power back. And I think this guy could come in here and be. I'm telling you, he's in play. You know, so.
I did a mock draft myself, and I had him at 71.
Okay, yeah, he's definitely third round. I think he could slip into the late second, which wouldn't be good for Washington. So obviously, we'll see how that plays out. So good stuff there, and Bud, good stuff. All right, so let's go with Miss Jen.
Well, it said his comp, Ruben Bain, is Brandon Graham and Melvin Ingram, and
they're okay.
That's not bad. That's not bad. They also have him at 6'3", 270, so that's power right there.
And
Honestly,
he also put on more weight too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's kind of hard to say it's amazing that we have a 7th pick because we had to go through, we had to get the 7th pick. But I do think that there's so many great players. I like Garvell too. I saw him speaking, and I think it's not just how good they are on the field. He's a very well-spoken guy. And I think that most of those guys, especially all of them in the top 10 or 7, you know, up to us, they're very enthusiastic. They all have that, you know, they're all going to do great things. But I'd be happy with Bain. I like Love too, but I think that they've done enough that they have the freedom to choose what falls to us, and that depends on what other teams need. That's really it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And I love what you said as far as the thing that stands out about every last one of them. And I interviewed every last one of them in Indy. They are very articulate, very smart, very thoughtful guys.
They are.
They think before they speak.
Right.
But I also say
Absolutely.
this about them. They're the type of guys that will bag your groceries for you and help you and then rob you afterwards. And that's what we
I
want.
mean, one thing I
That's
really
what we
like
want.
about Bobby Wagner, and this is the last thing I'll say, is I love Bobby Wagner as a player. I also love him as a man. I think
Mhm.
he's just so passionate, very smart, and I think that it shows that he can, he reads things right when he's on the field. I mean, he may not be 20 something years old anymore, but you need players that are not just physical, but they've got it going on upstairs. And all of those interviews with those guys were great. I listened to Arvel Reese and Sonny Styles and Ruben. I mean, they're all great. So I'm happy with whatever they've got. And Adams got us in a position that I think we're going to do great things. The new coaches, they're already going to have, what are they going to do with the people coming back in the free agency? It's exciting.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's go with Marcus.
Yeah, so I say that if we can't get Love, don't look like what everybody's saying, and if we can't get a top edge rusher like Sonny Styles, I don't know if he's edge rusher, but if we can't get the top, then I'm all for building our offense. Let's get a wide receiver. Let's go out the tape. I know we're probably going to get Ayuk as well. I think having Ayuk, Terry, and Tate, those three lineup, man, I think that'll just be a powerhouse.
Yeah, they can't go wrong with whoever they take. It's gonna be some really good folks there. All right, so then our final three, and then we can wrap it up, is Oscar, Shauno, and Miss Sheila. So Oscar, you're up.
Yeah, like I think we're gonna be just fine in the running back room without having Jeremiah Love because Rashad White and Krosky Merritt is gonna be good, I guess. I agree with Marcus. I think we need another wide receiver because we love Terry, but slowly he's aging. We don't know if Debo is gonna stay or not. Sorry to say this, but I'm not high on Ayuk. I guess we can have the second Lattimore effect with him. That's how I feel. I think we need Carnell or somebody else, like a younger wide receiver would be nice.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, Shauno.
So I already text you my pick, so we're on the same wavelength. I don't have the meta glasses, but we're right here. So I know that Love's not going to get to us. I think he's going to fall all the way to Cleveland, but Cleveland's going to trade out, and someone else is going to jump in and grab Love. Sonny Styles is going to New York, and I think Bain may not be there. For some reason, Bailey's dropping. I'm not sure. I didn't do my research to find out what the off-the-field stuff is.
Bailey is the guy that I think could be there at 7. I said it on my show yesterday. Remember that Bailey and Bain would be there, and then I'm taking Bain.
I agree with that. But I think Bain may be gone early because if they know what I see, they're going to pick him before us. But what's going on with Bailey? I mean, what's the off the field stuff? I don't understand.
Well, it's hard for me to come out and give my actual grade and my synopsis of a player because it sounds like I'm dogging the player. But what I saw in Indianapolis and just hearing him talk, he sounded very young. I don't use the word immature like he's not a good person. I just mean like he sounded like a kid speaking at the podium. And it just led me to believe that his production on the field was good. But then when I went back and watched a lot of Texas Tech tape, I saw Jacob Rodriguez making the plays. And David Bailey was living off of a lot of these other really good football players on Texas Tech defense. I'm not knocking David Bailey. I think if Washington were to walk away with him at 7, I would not feel bad about it at all. I would feel like they got like Jen said herself, a great player. You're going to get one at 7 regardless. But when you listen to Ruben Bain talk and you watch his demeanor and you watch Anthony his play Hamilton. On the field, you call him Anthony Hamilton Jr.
Big Anthony.
Big Anthony.
He all football. He is all football.
He's
it
all
matters
football.
Though how they speak. It matters.
Absolutely.
It really matters.
And this guy, I'm telling you, is just He had the line of the combine when they just said, what kind of player are you? What would you be bringing to this team? And yeah, he just said, I just want to play ball, man. He said,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a monster.
He did, yeah.
And when I heard that, my hairs on my arm stood up like he said, I'm a monster. And he wasn't being cocky about it. He was just matter of fact, that's
All
just
business.
that's who I am. His hair wasn't cut, and I'm not saying like,
I
because
saw him.
yeah, because my producer did say on the show yesterday, one thing about DC guys and Lake U one, y'all keep groomed and all that, and I'm like, yeah, when I had hair, it was good, it was cut, but he'll get a temple fade when he gets to DC. Don't worry about that. But the point is, if he came to his biggest job interview and he wasn't worried about that. He just wanted to get out and perform and show his drills. And you watch his pro day and you watch that bend coming around
Oh my God, it was crazy.
It's
Mike
unbelievable.
Tyson wore a towel with a hole. Okay.
Yeah,
so
man, that's it. And that's what he said. He said Mike Tyson has short arms, but he was knocking people out. So
Yeah.
Actually, he had that Derek Thomas bend.
He
that was
did
sick.
have the Derek Thomas
Yes.
bend. And hand wasn't even on the ground sometimes.
Well, he had the Dwight Freeney bend. Who said Dwight Freeney?
Dwight Freeney was one of those guys. And see, this is the thing.
These guys are this high off the ground.
I love the fact that he feels disrespected. I love it. I love it. I love it because now you're gonna get a pit bull coming in here that's mad because he's at 7, and he probably feel like this might probably feel like he should have been number 1 because I went back and I watched the Indiana championship game over Miami. Listen, if you know anything about Indiana's offensive line, it was touted as probably the best offensive line in college football last year. He was wrecking those guys. So he's just one of those guys. You wouldn't have to scheme for him. You could just say, listen, go. Get the ball. Go to where the ball is.
See ball, get ball.
Blake, did you see that one picture where they put Bailey and Bain on the drills with the dip?
And it was a big difference.
It was a big difference,
big difference. This guy's violent. He's got violent hands.
Good point,
and,
David.
So that's what I want to see in a burgundy and gold.
Actually,
uniform.
that was recent Bang.
Right.
It was Arvell Reese. But think about this, and then we'll move on to Miss Sheila, and we'll wrap up today's show. A great one as always with you guys. So when you think about the moves that were made, and the reason why I get excited is because I want Jeremiah Love. Let me just flat out say that. So anybody watching this, don't misconstrue my words. I've said for weeks on this program that Jeremiah Love's the most talented player in the draft. I've said it. Okay. They're not getting him, in my opinion. So since that offensive player is taken care of by another team, I want that dog on defense. And I think for me, Ruben Bain Jr. is that dog. Okay, that's just my own belief and my own opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right, but that's what I see. I see violence, and I see something that would open up the games of a Frankie Louvu, would open up the games of Adafe Owe and Chasen, would open up in the middle of the field. Now you've got Leo back there, Chanel, Chanel. I mean, it could really do some things. And more importantly, the people that benefit the most out of having all these dogs up front on the back end, a Nick Cross, a Will Harris, a Mikey Sanders-Still, a Trey Amos, whoever they're bringing in. So it just does wonders. And then that helps the offense not have to go 90, 80 yards every drive. They have short fields. It would help, it would help Moody. It would help everyone, if you can get some dogs on that defense. And I think they would do that. So let's wrap it up with Miss Sheila. Wrap it up best for last because it's your 1-year anniversary with me here on this show. So yes. So take us out. What you think?
I looked at so much of this week. I'm dizzy. For them changing Jeremiah to this, changing this one to that. This one, on another station saying one thing. I was just like, oh my God, round and round and round we go.
Right.
We're gonna stop. Nobody knows. So that's where I was with that. I had my little 3 players. Bang was the first person I saw interviewed during the combine. I noticed how he wasn't all fresh, but he didn't care, just like you said. So he was number 1. Sonny Styles was my number 2, and Jeremiah Miles was my other 3. So whichever one, I'm just gonna give it to the Lord because I pray for everybody. Okay, so God got
well
this.
said, Miss Sheila.
God got this. So that's where I am with it. So I'm just like getting off of this merry-go-round and just gonna sit back and watch. I'm not gonna listen no more. So have a good week, and God bless all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Sheila.
And I think we all in agreement on this. Whoever it is, a 7 will be welcome with open arms, with no reservations whatsoever.
Jaden Daniels'
No doubt
revenge
about
tour
it.
begins.
Hey, Lake,
Just
real quick.
on down through the years, my lady. You know what?
Lake, what's with that? What do you have on that one kid height?
I like them. I do. But again, for me, and I keep saying this, it's 8 players in this draft that from day one, they're going to put that new uniform on that's going to be unveiled on the 15th. I already told y'all what it is. It's the new old uniform.
Right.
And the black one is going to look like the new old uniforms too. Okay?
Nice.
But yeah, I think that those 8 players are difference makers, like from day one. I think after that, they're really good football players that, you can get, and they're going to be players that are going to help your franchise, but it may take a year or 2 before you really see the result right away. And I think he
Developmental
falls in
players.
that. Yeah, and I don't even like using the word developmental players. I just think most professionals in any sport, it takes some time. The special ones are the ones that hit the ground running, no pun intended, but like Jaden, you knew he was special, and he proved that. He hit the
We
ground
don't
running.
need a quarterback.
Yeah,
How about that?
but listen, but look at this. Look at Caleb Williams, the number 1 pick in the draft. It took him a year to really get his feet under him, and it almost took him 2 years, because what we saw in the playoffs is what Chicago's was betting on they were getting. Okay. But Jaden came in, and I saw it in rookie minicamp. I saw it. And y'all remember I came on here and said I came on here looking like I saw a ghost. And I literally was like, I saw something today in this rookie minicamp. No veterans, just these rookies, and 80% of them won't be back here when it all starts with the veterans. But I saw something today that I had never seen. And that's the special aspect. I want y'all to do me a favor. I want
Commanders
y'all to
versus
go back.
Buffalo.
Okay, but I want y'all
Bowl.
to go. I want y'all to go back and pull up on Twitter, because I don't really rock with Twitter too much anymore. It's become too political for me. Okay, but go back on Twitter, and you can go back in the timeline on there and look up what I said about Terry McLaurin after his first training camp practice in Richmond. And it picked up waves because I said that Terry McLaurin, I said, I don't know who this number 17 is. I said, but he looks like the best receiver on the field, and he looks like a combination of Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garçon. And Miss G, that's Deshaun's mom. Deshaun's my boy. When Miss G came back and said, you do not mean that. And I was like, Miss G, I did not say he was Deshaun, and I did not say he was Pierre. I said he's a combination of them. And look at where we are years later. I just know when I see something I've never seen. And I know when I've had the wool pulled over my eyes, which has been a lot, because this team used to market players to be all pros, and they never made a Pro Bowl in their career.
Right.
I know when I see something I've never seen because I never saw it.
I had one last thought, like that I really feel strong about, regardless of who we get in the draft. you know how everyone was saying last year, or sorry, the 2024, you know, the year that Jaden won everything and rookie of the year, everyone said, well, that was an anomaly and that was just a fluke. I think last year was the
Was the
anomaly.
anomaly.
And
Yeah,
I
last
think
year
if
was the
he's going to
anomaly.
come back and show everyone that his first year was who he is.
Yes.
So that's another key guy with a chip on his shoulder.
Yes.
Well, I think you know, all you got to do is go back and look at his stats. You know, when he
Look at him in
played.
college. Look
Yeah,
at him
I
in
mean, he
college.
played
well, I
well
mean, last
last year.
year. Yeah, last year. Look at his stats. You know, he
Yeah.
accounted for 10
He could
touchdowns, eight
be
passing,
he could be
2
even
running.
better
Yes.
Yeah.
than that
Hey,
2024 season.
look how crisp he looked on that flag football.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's right. He looked good.
again, hate will do a lot, and hate will judge, will judge and cloud the thoughts of people because they want to see people fail as opposed to win. I think, you know, Jaden is one of those guys everybody wants to see win. He's a good kid, and I can tell you that from knowing him and being in that locker room with him. He is as advertised. And one thing I'm also tell you about Jaden is one of those guys, like I said, will bag your groceries for you and then take them from you.
And then take them.
He's going to come back this year ready to take groceries from people. And that's what we want.
You know, and the other thought, one last thought that I've got here is that if everything goes according to plan, this is going to be the last time in a long time that we're picking in the top 10.
That's the intent.
You know,
that's for sure.
That's the intent. So it's
That's
like,
the
man,
intent.
I'm
So you
glad
might as well
we have
get that dog you need.
You bet, because we ain't gonna be in this position, or we hope we're
Go
not.
get the one you need. So look, my
Hey,
friends.
Lake, it's 10 minutes to 8, bro.
I know. We're gonna wrap it up now.
Happy
We're gonna
birthday
wrap it
again,
up.
Miss Benet.
Happy birthday, Miss Benet.
Thank you. Thank you.
As always, we have a lot of fun with this. You know, we could do this all night, but unfortunately we can't, you know. Well, maybe fortunately we can't, you know. So you guys have a great weekend, and you know, we'll look out for some stuff this week, and we'll be back next week. Okay.
All right, bye, family. Everyone have a good weekend.
Take care.